Well, hello, everyone. Happy Monday. Welcome to the show that does not end. In this stream today, we are going to be going back to one of our old standbys, the school district that never lets me down, the school district that came to national prominence when I and 24 members of my community worked tirelessly to break the news that they were indeed grooming middle school children on the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Burlington is back. And like the SJWs that they clearly and obviously are, Burlington has doubled down in their grooming efforts. And we could have seen it coming if we were honest about it. We really could have. But they have it doubled down and they're continuing to groom students, but they're doing it a little bit differently this time. Now, Burlington has graduated to doing in-person presentations because I I don't know how they got the idea that if they put these videos on the internet, we would find them and that they would end up on Fox News. I just don't know why the Burlington School District would be afraid of putting videos of what they're doing in public with students on the internet just because the last time they got millions and millions of views and were all over conservative media for grooming 12-year-olds on the internet. You know, you have to give them some credit. They did learn the lesson that you don't put this stuff on the internet. But what they did not do, just cuz they didn't put it on the internet, doesn't mean they stopped grooming kids. They just moved their grooming exercises to in person. And I discovered this the other night as I was updating some of my Burlington research. As you guys know, I actually do have a whole separate Substack from my actively Unwoke Substack. It's just getting ramped up. I basically created a whole separate Substack where I'm over time just going to be putting crazy stuff that's coming out of the Burlington, Vermont School District. It's called the Burlington Project. You can access it at burlingtonproject.substack.com. This is for people who are interested in following along with what I honestly think is going to be the most woke school district in America, even rivaling Portland, Oregon. And Portland, Oregon is super woke. Portland, Oregon is crazy, but Burlington, Vermont is just as crazy. They're just on the East Coast. And to be really clear, one of the reasons that I started the Burlington Project was because I don't think that Burlington is savable. And that actually gives me great pain. It does. I took a lot of crap when we broke the news about grooming going on in the Burlington, Vermont School District, and people were like, "Why do you care about this, Carlin? You don't live in Vermont." Well, guess what? I'm from Vermont. I was born in Vermont. I grew up in Vermont. I was raised in Vermont. I lived in Vermont until I was 30 years old. I don't tell me I have no connection to this state. Don't tell me that this is none of my business because I grew up an hour south of Burlington. And so if I want to talk about what is going on in my home state and how it's slowly being taken over by communists, I will damn well do it. And so the Burlington Project, and yes, it is another Substack. A lot of my Substacks, they're kind of just they're side projects. The Substack that I really spend the most time on, of course, is my actively Unwoke Substack. But the problem is, Grandma Nay, is that I have a lot of interests and I have a lot of things I want to write about and a lot of things I want to talk about. And so in order to make it convenient for the argument, not the argument. In order to make it convenient for the audience to make sure you guys can get the type of content you want and ignore the type of content that you don't want, I have set up a bunch of different Substacks because I want you to be able to pick and choose what types of content that you like. Some people, I know, and I know you're kidding. I know, but I do want to explain this. Some people like my Unwoke content. Some people like my Red Pill content. Some people like my Art of the Trigger content. Some people like my Surviving Carrie Smith content. Some people like this. Some people like that. You can subscribe to all of them. You can subscribe to the ones that are interesting to you. I just want to make it easier for the audience to get the content they need. Ruth asked what part of Vermont. I grew up near Brandon. I grew up in Williamstown, Vermont. I graduated from Williamstown High School in 1999. I was 3rd in my class when I yeah, I think I was 3rd in my class when I graduated. I was like one of the I was one of the top 2 honors scholarship winners in my class. And so don't tell me I have no business. I moved away for college. I went to Boston University for college. And then I moved back home after college and I lived in Barrie, Vermont. I lived in Montpelier, Vermont. I have friends all over the state of Vermont. I have a lot of people, I have a lot of friends that have kids in school districts that are in and around Burlington. So this is actually a personal thing for me. And I like I said, I don't think Burlington can be saved. I actually don't think that Vermont can be saved in general. But I think it's important for us to track this information and I think it's important to talk about it because what we're going to see in Burlington, Vermont is a city that is quite literally building itself entirely on equity. It is not just in the schools. It is a city wide initiative to build their entire city on equity. I actually did a stream probably about a year ago where I took you through Burlington, Vermont's equity plan. I never wrote an article for the Substack. I actually do need to do that at some point. I want to put it on this Substack. But anyway, the Burlington Project Substack is for people that are specifically interested in following along with the granularity of what is happening in Burlington, Vermont. So you can go ahead and subscribe to that. It is burlingtonproject.substack.com if you so choose. And today, what we're going to be doing on the stream is basically what happened is last year, we exposed the groomer webinars from the Burlington, Vermont School District. And actually, you can actually still see those webinars. The Burlington, Vermont School District has taken those webinars off their YouTube pages. But guess what? I still have all the files. Neener, Burlington. I beat you on this one. So I actually still have the files. And you can actually go on to the Burlington Project and watch the original webinars that were removed from their YouTube channel. And if you guys try to get those taken down off that YouTube channel, I have them in like 5 other places. So, suck a dick, Burlington. You're not going to get away with this one. But they tried to hide these from you. I still have them up on the Burlington Project so you can see them. And what we did is we exposed Burlington, Vermont for grooming kids live on the internet through those webinars. You can head over to my Substack and read the article about it if you want to get caught up. I break it all down for you. I show you exactly what they're doing. I've got all sorts of clips from those webinars so that you can see exactly and precisely what is going on in the Burlington, Vermont School District. And this is like an intense article. We go into all aspects of the school district there. But this basically, so what happened when we found those is that I found them on the Burlington, Vermont Office of Equity homepage. And so I was like, I'm getting ready to launch my Schools Exposed program. We're going to talk about the Schools Exposed program in a second. But I was just doing some updates to some stuff to get ready to do like final finishing touches on launches. So, and I've used a lot of examples from real world school websites in the Schools Exposed program, Burlington being one of them. So I was trolling around Burlington's website and guess what I found? That they're still doing their workshops and they have put their slide decks on the internet. So even though, and you're going to see it in these workshops, I don't know where exactly they have them. Oh, even though in their workshops, they say, please, no videotaping allowed in the workshops, they were afraid that I was going to send someone to secretly videotape them. That might still be happening, Burlington. That was good. I got to give Burlington credit. Burlington, that was good for you to be afraid of that. Because I actually did try to find someone to go and infiltrate your workshops, and then I forgot because I was focused on 8,000 other things. And so it didn't work out. But it was good, Burlington. It was good. You're learning. Burlington, this cat and mouse game that we're going to be playing with each other over the next couple of years, you're learning how I think. You're adjusting. You're making adaptations. But it's okay because we're still going to outsmart you because we do this shit for fun, Burlington. This is like a game. And I'm smarter than all of you put together. So don't think this is over just because you're outlawing the taping of your in-person grooming presentations. Anyway, so we have their slide decks. And what we're going to be doing on this stream is we're going to go through these slide decks because I haven't had a chance to look at them yet. And so, and we're still seeing they're doubling down. I mean, Burlington has not changed anything about what they're doing. And guess what? If anyone on this stream right now is in the greater Burlington, Vermont area, and you would like to help this effort, well, it looks like they are doing a LGBTQIA workshop number 3. Let's talk about gender and pronouns, featuring students in a workshop led by EMS YPAR. YPAR is a student-led research organization. Participants will understand, apply, and gain comfort around gender, pronouns, and sexuality. We will explore the use of pronouns, neopronouns, and mixed pronouns, and discuss sexuality and how it is different from gender, and hear recommendations from students, hello, Paolo Fieri, on how to respect gender and sexuality with friends, staff, and peers. So they are doing this presentation on March 8th at 5:30 p.m. And if someone is around the Burlington, Vermont area, and you want to help me infiltrate this presentation, because to be quite frank, it's winter. I I I don't want to drive to Burlington. It would be like 4 hours. So Burlington, you're getting off. You're getting off light because I'm too lazy to drive up to see you during the winter. But I will find someone who lives in the area. But no, seriously, if you want to help us infiltrate this, we can get you cameras. We can get you secret, like, little pin cams or whatever. We can get you Google. We will figure out some way to get the things that we need. Also, as someone pointed out, James Jones, they didn't say no audio recordings. Hmm. We got radical moderate willing to donate spy cams. This isn't over, Burlington. So if you want to help us out, let me know. You can email me at activelyounwoke@gmail.com. My DMs are also open on Twitter. I'm Dr. Carlin B on Twitter. If I haven't blocked you, you can send me a DM. If I have blocked you, try sending me a DM through my Actively Unwoke account, and that'll get to me as well. And if you want to help us out by infiltrating this webinar and letting us know what they're doing, we will set you up with whatever you need. But for today's stream, we are just going to go through the slide decks, and I'm thrilled that Burlington has put today we'll be discussing the 2S LGBTQIA plus. They've added Two-Spirit to the beginning. And we're going to be trolling around for some other stuff on Burlington, Vermont's the Burlington, Vermont School District's website. And this is going to be a schools investigation stream. We are in schools exposed. What we're doing is we are examining what publicly available information schools put on the internet, and we're just looking at it. And so all of the information we're looking at today does come off of the Burlington School District website. This is their district office of equity. The main woman who is in charge of these trainings is this woman right here. Her name is Autumn Bangora. Her. She is the equity instructional leader. And you're going to see that these are Autumn's presentations. You're going to see that they've got a whole equity staff at Burlington, Vermont, led by Sparks. And to be honest, I actually don't think that Sparks sounds like a bad guy, but he's absolutely like a true believer. I think he does have positive intention. I just think that he's gone a little off the rails with his staff. And there's all sorts of stuff. And there's other things we can look at too if we get done with these slide decks, to include, and this is something that I've actually already covered. They had an LGBTQ plus task force earlier this year. Guess what that LGBTQ plus task force did earlier this year? They put out, or not this year, last year, sorry. They put out a report where this task force, I shit you not, they went through and they counted the number of LGBTQ plus flags in the classrooms. There is a whole walkthrough pilot tool. I'll put this link in the chat, where Burlington, Vermont is actually keeping track of how much LGBTQ plus flair is in their classrooms, making sure that everyone has a safe space. This is actually an official district-wide checklist. And so I broke this story at the end of last year, saying they were doing this, and you can go and see the documents there for yourself. So that's what they're doing there. But there's other stuff that's on here too that I do want to take a look at, including their Summer Racial Justice Academy. This is a summer camp to train students how to be activists. And one of the things that the students do is they put together a document that's basically like setting the groundwork for a struggle session with administrators. They basically these recommendation documents are the students making demands upon the teachers based on their work in their racial justice academy, the summer academy. And so we might have a chance to go look through that as well. Anyway, so we're going to basically be trolling around the Burlington, Vermont School District website today, and we're going to see what we find, and we're going to look at their groomer presentations and all that stuff. Now, all of this and my previous work is available on my Substack. So if you have not yet subscribed to my Substack, I hope you'll consider doing so today. It is Carlyn, KARLYN.substack.com. If you want to find the Burlington stuff, just go up here to the little search bar and search for Burlington, and you're going to find this article on the most woke school district in America. Training is grooming children live on the internet. You're also going to find this article about them having an official district-wide checklist for how much LGBTQ plus flair they have in the classrooms. So you're going to be able to see all the evidence for yourself. I bring the receipts every single time I do it. All of this work has been directly, publicly available on their website. So Andy's saying, no more need for FOIA requests. Well, that's actually an interesting question, Andy. Sorry, Andre. Or I'm not sure how to Andre. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Sorry about that. That's actually an interesting question, though, because Burlington, Vermont, the reason that I say that Burlington, Vermont can't be saved is because 75% of the community is completely bought into this. They all think this is great. And so this can't be saved because the community is completely on board. And because the community is completely on board, they put all their information on their website. They put it all out there. They don't hide anything. However, I was just thinking earlier today, wouldn't it, and there are actually FOIA requests I want to do for Burlington, Vermont. I actually have a whole fucking list from last year that I never got to because I was just trying to juggle way too many things at once, and I was being attacked every day by idiots on the internet. And so it was just way too much for me to handle. And so I dropped the ball on several things, and the list of FOIA requests was one of the things I dropped the ball on. However, I was thinking earlier today, wouldn't it be interesting to FOIA the emails of everyone in the Burlington School District that mention this article or my work? I want to see what they've said about me. I want to see what they've said about this research. I want to see what they've said about those webinars. And guess what we can do? We can FOIA their emails, baby. So Burlington, Vermont might think I forgot about them. No, no, no. No, no. Just because I was distracted with other things, Burlington. No, no. I never forget about anything. I always get to it when I get to it. So we might be doing some FOIA requests. Indeed. I think that would be badass. But guys, please make sure you're subscribed to my Substack. I do new articles almost every single day. I'm hopeful that this stream today is actually going to contribute to doing an article on these slide decks that I do want to break down and expose for you guys. So what you're seeing right now, you're actually going to see the journalism that your real journalists refuse to do, and you're in on the ground floor. This could potentially, and it has happened on more than one occasion, where the work that we do on the Schools Exposed streams ends up on the news, because that's the type of crazy shit that we expose. Now, this is all part of my Schools Exposed program, and I'm really excited. My Schools Exposed program is going to be launching officially on Wednesday. Wednesday is the day. It was originally going to be tomorrow, but I just talked to Joshua, and Joshua said, Carlyn, the best astrology is on Wednesday. And I said, well, of course, we're going to go with the best astrology. And so the official course room for the Schools Exposed program will be opening on Wednesday. Now, this is about a month behind schedule, so I do apologize to everyone. I got really sick, as many of you know. It was really hard for me to speak. It's still pretty tough. Like, my throat is still effed up from whatever, like, goddamn bronchitis or whatever I got in January that just, like, screwed my throat up, like, almost irrevocably. But I did power through. I did a bunch of recording. The material is all recorded. And the course room is going to open on Wednesday, and we're going to start our Schools Exposed project. Now, what Schools Exposed is I'm going to be teaching people how to do the investigations that I do to be able to do this for your own school district. Or if you just want to do this for fun, if you just want to join like the Unwoke Army and do this for fun, because we literally do this for fun, it's like a club, and you just want to expose documents and what the schools are doing, you can join it as well. You don't have to be a parent. Okay. Anyone is welcome to join as long as you want to learn how to find out what the schools are doing with publicly available information. Head over to schoolsexposed.com. And because the program is launching on Wednesday, this is going to be your last chance to get in as part of the Indiegogo program. So Indiegogo is currently still accepting donations if you want to get a spot in the Schools Exposed program, if you want to get an autographed book from me, even if you want to get a hand-knit shawl to support the work I'm doing, if you want to buy a scholarship for someone else getting into the Schools Exposed program, you can fund that all through my Indiegogo thing. Now, getting into the Schools Exposed program is not going to be free, okay? If you are not part of the Indiegogo campaign, which you can still get into the program for $50 if you want. But what's going to happen once it officially launches on Wednesday is it will be a $99 one-time fee. So not monthly, not annually, just one time in order to be able to get into the program. This is not going to be a free thing that I'm putting out there, and that's for a couple of reasons. And I'm going to take a drink of water before I explain those reasons. Reason number one, things that are given away for free are not as valuable. Okay? Things that are given away for free, people don't value them as much. And I've been in this game of doing training and coaching programs for a long time. What I see consistently is that when you charge a fee, even if it's a small fee, what happens is that people take the content that you're giving them much more seriously. I don't think that $99 is an insurmountable fee for most people. I think that it's a perfectly reasonable fee considering how much time and work I've had to put in to creating this content, because we're talking about thousands of hours of researching and figuring things out and reverse engineering things and all that to be able to teach it to you guys really, really simply. We're talking about the time that I put in creating the actual videos and the course room content. We're talking about the time that I'm going to be spending administering the course room and answering questions and stuff like that. So for me, I want people to be able to come in that appreciate the time and the energy that it requires to put something like this together. And most importantly, I want them to take it seriously. That's what I want. I want to put 10,000 parents through this program. I am 100% serious about that. But I need it to be parents who are taking it seriously, who are going to follow the steps I'm giving them, who are going to utilize the content to go into their school districts and to figure out what's going on, and then to share that information out with the rest of us and with other people in the school district and with other people in the world. This is about creating an army of people that are going to hold the public schools accountable for what they're doing. And I only want people involved who are taking it seriously. And if you're taking it seriously, you can figure out how to afford a $99 one-time fee. Now, there will be scholarships available, but people are going to have to apply for those scholarships. And to get one of the and by the way, those scholarships are coming from people who have donated the money and have actually bought a space in the course for someone else. So in the Indiegogo campaign, there is actually one of the contribution levels that you can get access for you, and you can buy a scholarship for someone else. All right. And so those scholarships are available. However, you're going to have to convince me that number one, you are truly in financial need for those scholarships, because I'm not going to give them away willy nilly. And number two, you are going to take the content of the program seriously. Because again, I'm not going to allow people into this course room that are just coming to be disruptive, that are not going to utilize the information I've given them. We're going to create a nice, productive environment for everyone who wants to be a part of it, and that's just the way it goes. The second reason I'm charging a $99 one-time fee for this is because I believe in making activism entrepreneurial. I am putting between 8 and 15 hours a day into doing this unwoke activism almost every day of the week without vacations, without breaks. My head is in this all day, every day. And in order to be able to continue to keep this up, I need to be able to have the time to do it. And time is bought with money. I believe in making activism an entrepreneurial endeavor for people who are serious about it. And I hope that when I do things like create a program to teach you how to investigate the schools, that you will see the value in that and understand that we need to create this as a business model in order to keep activists like me in the game. Otherwise, we burn out and we quit, and then no one's doing nothing. So that's why there's going to be a one-time fee. Again, there's going to be scholarships that will be available if you need them, but you do have to convince me you truly do need it and you're going to take the program seriously. And that's just the way it's going to be. And people who want to complain that I'm charging money for this, they can suck a dick, to be truly honest, because the people who are complaining that I'm charging money for this are not doing anything of value in the world that is worth charging money for themselves. And they should be more focused on their own lives than what I'm doing. If you don't think the work I'm doing is worth a $99 one-time fee, you don't have to pay it. And guess what, guys? I do enough of these streams on the internet that if you just want to watch my Schools Exposed streams and learn how to investigate your schools doing those, you can do that. Nothing is stopping you. If you want to utilize those as your resources, then you are welcome to do it. But in the program, I'm going to break down for you how to investigate the schools. I'm going to talk about what each of these documents mean. I'm going to teach you the vocabulary, and you're going to have direct access to me whenever you need it in order to be able to ask questions, to get help. We're also going to do monthly live calls where we're going to work through some of these questions together, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's going to be great. I'm really excited about it. We are creating an army, ladies and gentlemen, to fight back against the schools, doing something productive, contributing in a way that's really going to make a difference. And it's going to be so, so fun. And it's going to be so, so beautiful. So if you want to get involved, head over to schoolsexposed.com. And what you can do is go to Join Schools Exposed right up here. That's going to take you over to the Indiegogo campaign. And again, you got until Wednesday to get involved in this program, because I'm shutting down the Indiegogo and I'm shutting down contributions through the Indiegogo once the program launches. So get them in now. It is your last chance. And by the way, the other thing that I'm doing as a result of Schools Exposed and what you're going to be contributing to building is I am building the largest dark document archive on the internet that is going to track all of this stuff in the public schools. So I'm going to be creating a massive database and warehouse of archived information that is pulled off all of these school websites, and the Schools Exposed program and the work we're going to do in that is going to feed this database so that we can document everything that these schools have been doing with their own public data. And you can see here, we already have a page started for Burlington, Vermont, where you can access their webinars, you can access all of their equity reports, you can access their other documents and websites. Every single one of these things has actually been archived in the Wayback Machine. So even if Burlington takes it off their website, it's still archived. If I couldn't get a PDF of the document, the PDFs of these documents are uploaded directly to at my actual website. So you're going to have those there. But everything else, the web pages have actually been archived. So even if the school deletes them, we're still going to have access to it. So we're also tracking community partners, because one of the things I want to do is community partners are usually nonprofit organizations that the schools work with in order to put this stuff into their classroom, in order to put the woke stuff in their classroom. And one of the things I want to do is make a massive directory of all of these nonprofit organizations that are training schools in this woke bullshit all over the country. And I want people to be able to access it. So, if you see GLSEN show up in your school, or if you see YPAR showing up in your school, or you see a community justice center showing up in your school, you're going to know exactly what that is and what they do and what to expect. So all of this is going to feed in to creating one of the most massive I mean, I think it's gonna be the largest database that exists of these types of documents on the internet, and we're gonna break a lot of news stories, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna find all the other Burlingtons out there, and we're gonna show people with receipts what is going on. So join me in the Schools Exposed program. I'm really excited to get started. And I want to thank everyone that has contributed up until this point. You guys have made this a reality. You guys were the ones that provided me with the resources and the time to be able to put this together. And I truly do believe that Schools Exposed is going to be one of the most important things I ever do. And I'm really, really looking forward to working with everyone in the program moving forward. All right, guys, with that rambling preamble out of the way, I need everyone to mount that like button for me. I need everyone to subscribe to the channel if they have not already. And what we're going to be doing today is we're going to look through the slide decks of the groomer workshops that have been occurring in Burlington, Vermont. So the first one we're going to look through is LGBTQIA plus workshop number 1. And it's called Words Matter. And this was on January 18th, 2023. And this was given at an elementary school. What Sam is asking a great question. What term should I put for a FOIA targeting schools? Hang on, Sam, give me 1 second and I'll show you exactly. So this is one of the things we are going to be talking about in the Schools Exposed program. But in the meantime, if you head over to activilyunwoke.com/on-demand, I want you to watch this webinar right here. This is a webinar that I hosted with Nicole Solis called FOIA Everything. Find out what the schools are teaching your kids with public records requests. Nicole actually teaches you how to do FOIA requests in that webinar. That's available for free. So you can check that out for free. And that is available on activilyunwoke.com/on-demand right now. I got it, Brooklyn. I appreciate it. All right, so let's go back and let's see what's going on in this here presentation. And what I'm looking at, hang on, let me see. I want to see if I can make this bigger. Just want to view. Zoom. Oh, not that. Maybe that didn't work. All right. Okay, I guess that's about as good as we can do. But the thing that I want you guys to note is, and again, Burlington, thank you for this gift that you're giving me, Burlington, because, hang on. What do you guys notice about this? I know the type is small, but I want to point this out. And I'm not even talking about the slide. What do you guys notice about this document? Here, I'll tell you. We not only have the slides, we also have Autumn's presenter notes. So you know how I said that that this woman right here, Autumn Bangora, she was the one in charge of creating these presentations. The reason that I know that is because we literally have Autumn's presenter notes here telling us what they talked about in these presentations. And so it says, and I know it's small, but I can't make it any bigger. It says, Autumn introduces the purpose and the goals. Thank you, Autumn. We appreciate it. All right. So today we will be discussing Two-Spirit, LGBTQIA plus words and phrases. And this is their workshop number 1. What is heteronormativity? What does it mean to be gender fluid? What are the most appropriate word choices when talking about LGBTQ plus topics? One of the key challenges in understanding LGBTQ plus IA plus, LGBTQIA, because now they've changed the acronym, is deciphering changes in word choice and language over time. This is a participatory workshop. Participants will examine words, phrases, terminology, and definitions to educate ourselves on the most current word usage and to discuss inclusive language. Yes, Joseph is saying heteronormativity, indeed, indeed. And in the bottom here, it says why the LGBTQ plus issues are a part of the Burlington School District fabric, the task force report and recommendations, LGBTQ plus in schools, to include school counselors, I think this is hazing, harassment, and bullying prevention, health classes, representation and curriculum. So Autumn is telling us in their presenter notes that they are integrating this into the curriculum. Recent training for multilingual liaisons conducted via cultural sensitivity around LGBTQ plus and addressing cultural stigmas. So points to keep in mind. We are talking about students and families, and we are talking about respect. Communication between educators and families is essential, except for when it's on video, Autumn, huh? Schools are places for informed and open discussions. This is a safe space and a brave space. No hate speech of any kind will be tolerated. So we can have open discussions, but we can't have what they consider to be hate speech. I would like to know what Autumn's definition of hate speech is. And then please no videotaping. Photos are only okay with permission. And then they've got their task force statement here, and I'm pretty sure this was written as a direct result of us. I'm pretty sure that all of this is created because of the work that we did. We at the Burlington School District stand committed to transforming the Burlington School District into a national model for holistic wellness for LGBTQ plus people, youth, and adults. We stand in solidarity with LGBTQ plus students, staff, and community members and believe that schools can truly be safe only when every student is assured access to an education without fear. We stand behind our Burlington School District staff who pursue a safe and supportive environment for all students. We also stand behind our educators who teach an inclusive curriculum that features LGBTQ plus people, history, events, and raises awareness to counter discrimination, stereotypes, bias, and harassment. So what I want to point out, and we talk about this in the Schools Exposed program, when you are investigating the schools using publicly available documents, you must take the time to read everything. Even if it's boring, even if you don't want to do it, even stuff like this, you're like, this is a mission statement. What could it possibly say? Well, quite literally, in this mission statement, they are telling us that they are integrating this ideology into the curriculum that is being taught to your students. And we only know that because they've admitted it on one of the slides. You have to read everything. You have to watch everything. You have to listen. The schools are never going to be upfront about what they're teaching. They're going to try to obfuscate. They're going to try to gaslight. But in documents like this, if you really pay attention and you give everything a close read, you can figure out what they're teaching because they will tell it to you. These documents are the place where they say the quiet part out loud because they don't think people are actually going to read them. And we in the Schools Exposed program are going to prove them all wrong because these people can only hide when people willfully stick their head in the sand and they ignore what the schools are showing them in their own documents. Let's build community. Oh, look at those rainbow flags. Check-in question. Share your name, pronouns, and affiliation with Burlington School District. And what is one thing you already know about LGBTQ plus history and people or events? And then we've got all their teaching resources here. Check this out. They've got Glisten. They've got Don't Overlook LGBT History in High School, Gay Rights Movement, Marriage and Flag History. The people are, they've got all sorts of stuff here. Breaking Through the Binary, Gender Explained Using Continuums. It's pronounced metrosexual. Now, if I were doing if I were doing this within the Schools Exposed program, what I would tell you to do is you need to click on every single one of those links and actually take the time to look at them. We're not going to do that in this stream because we don't have the time for it. But normally what I would do is say, click on every single one of those things and read it. Another thing I want to say, and this is actually ironic. So it says here, Vermont was the first state to introduce civil unions on July 1st, 2000, and the first state to introduce same-sex marriage by erecting a statue without being required to do so by a court decision. Now, I want to say this for those who say that, for those in Burlington, Vermont, who are going to inevitably say that I'm anti-LGBTQ plus and all that stuff. When I was in high school, I was doing activism around the civil union bill. Civil unions in Vermont, and again, I grew up in Vermont. Civil unions in Vermont were the first bill they were the first thing that got me to be politically active. So if anyone wants to say that I'm anti anything when I am not, the fact is that I was one of the people that was door knocking and doing stuff when I was a teenager to get that bill passed that you guys are now bragging about. So I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I was getting death threats when I was 17 years old because I was working on that, because there were absolutely people in Vermont that did not want that to happen at the time. So I don't want to hear it. I had people calling my house when I was a fucking teenager over that bill because of the work I was doing. Please. Yeah, but enacting. Did I say erecting? I think I said erecting. It's enacting. Oh my word. It's enacting. Two Spirit LGBTQIA plus activity. So okay, so what it says here is they passed out pride flags to small groups in the presentation, and they had them do an activity with pride flags. And then we've got da 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 the gender unicorn. The gender unicorn is still alive and well in the Burlington, Vermont school district. Activity. Go through each category and field questions. But they didn't just use the gender unicorn, they also used the genderbread man, which is exactly the same as the gender unicorn, except it's a gingerbread man. All right, here we have all sorts of terms and definitions. This glossary is provided in order to clarify the intended meaning of terms that appear throughout this report and its supporting references. So this is from their LGBTQIA task force report, which you can see right here. And this is the report that I discussed in the mandated grooming story that I did. But you can go through and see it here as well. And what they have in the slide deck are definitions for LGBTQ plus, gender, gender expression, transgender, cisgender, gender nonconforming, gender segregated spaces. They have in the notes here a chalk talk activity, heteronormativity, non-binary, gender fluid, gender dysphoria, neopronouns. Do you guys know what neopronouns are? Pop quiz for the chat. Does anyone know what neopronouns are? Maybe it's on the next slide. No, they don't have a definition of that. Someone let me know if you know what neopronouns are. Intersectionality, cisgender, gender nonconforming, on chart paper. Give participants a chance to silently walk around with markers and write definitions, examples, and questions. So they actually took the time to define those. Yes, exactly. Zim, zer. Also just like fey gender or bog gender or things like that. Faux pronouns. Yeah, it's like zim, zer, z, all those weird ones that aren't like she and her. Yeah, like bun self, dragon self, exactly. They also have the definitions for gender affirming or gender liberated. Anytime we see the word liberated or abolish, that's when the alarm bells go off. That's when you know they're doing nonsense. Or not nonsense, they're doing Marxism. Sorry, misspoke. GSA or Gender Sexuality Alliance, sexuality, intersex. I've never heard this one before. Cis sexism. Cis sexism. A belief a biased belief system positioning cisgender experiences and normal and expected, and all other forms and experiences of gender as other pathological or holy shit, this is a new one. This is a new one that I haven't heard before. So they're going to be okay, what's going to happen is that the woke left is going to start positioning anyone who says that there are only biological men and women as exhibiting cis sexism. Pay attention for that word. That word's going to come up. Heteronormativity, the social assumption that all people are heterosexual and cisgender, sets the expectations for gender roles and identities and sexuality. Heteronormativity leads to social problems such as the patriarchy, homophobia, and transphobia. Heteronormative expectations come at an early age with the influences of traditional gender roles. No, Scott, we don't punch people. Don't hurt people. Don't take their stuff. You only hit people in self-defense, Scott, and I know you're just joking. And then they had a discussion question. Where does heteronormativity show up in schools and in our community? So basically, they started a struggle session. Closing. I heart the singular they. What the hell is this? Oh. Does this have a sound or something? Oh my God. What the hell is this? If you're trying to make an example of a hypothetical general person, they makes them as general as one can imagine. Consider, if someone hugged me, I'd hug her back, and if someone hugged me, I'd hug them back. I'm a hug everyone back. There's no question of that. So for hugging leeway, I heart they. The singular, they, is easy. This is crazy. Writing with non-gender neutral pronouns is a serious pain. Some prefer the Frankenwood she, he, while others rack their brain. They wrote a whole fucking poem. Some stick with a particular pronoun for one paragraph or chapter and then swap out the one they're using. Others alternate he and she by sentence or use a plural adapter, but they all sound confusing. The singular they is inclusive. They doesn't assume a person's gender, and it doesn't assume there are also two. It's inclusive of all people of all different genders, including me, everyone else, and you. It's a metaphorical blanket that can cover the human population, which, non metaphorically, would be a cuddle celebration. The singular they is classy. The English language greats have used it throughout history for the past 700 years, since at least the 14th century. Some people object to they and cite grammar as their plea, but it was classically used by Chaucer, Shakespeare, Austen, and Thackeray. I don't know who that is. Or who would I be to say it's not good enough for me? And then share the love letter. Yo. That's crazy. That was their big closing. And the source of this in the notes, A Guide to Gender, a Social Justice Advocate's Handbook by Sam Kellerman. It's the easiest way to write generalizable, non-gendered examples about people. Using the singular they is a great step in the direction of gender justice. Now, I have an article on my Substack. If you just Google or like search gender, hang on. Not there, not there, there. I want everyone to read this. This comes from Socialism Saturday. And what we have learned from Socialism Saturday is that the goal is to eliminate the gender binary. They're not trying to eliminate women like a lot of people think. They're not trying to eliminate men. They are trying to eliminate both men and women to create a world full of theys, where everyone is a they. that will achieve gender equity when we have a world full of theys. This, ladies and gentlemen, is queer Marxism. Queer Marxism is just one level down of crazy from fat studies. Fat studies is still the ultimate of all crazy. But queer Marxism is right up there. And quite literally, what the queer Marxists are arguing is that we need to make everyone a they. And so when I see things showing up in the Burlington School District where they're closing out training sessions in an elementary school, extolling the virtue of calling everyone they, kind of makes me think that they're headed in a certain direction, doesn't it? All right, that is the end of the first presentation. And they've got a little review thing there. That's all the slides we have for that. Next up, we're going to be looking at our second presentation, which is all about LGBTQIA plus in schools. And here's the slide deck for this. Let me just take a sip of water. And I want to let everyone know again, if you just joined, what we're looking for is literally available on the website of the Burlington, Vermont School District right now. You can find documents like this on your school district's website. This is all publicly available information. They do not hide it. This is why you need to understand what is going on on the websites of your schools, because they will tell you exactly what they're doing. And it's not even hard to find once you know where to look. All right, our second workshop. And again, thank you, Autumn, for the helpful presenter notes. The goals for this workshop are share their task force recommendations, learn how and why LGBTQ plus topics are introduced in schools. They had a student panel. They had a live student panel at this webinar. So remember, we got the Burlington, Vermont School District in trouble for grooming kids live on the internet. Now they're grooming kids live in person. Isn't that nice of them? They're going to show us a sample lesson plan at a variety of grade levels, and they're going to explore LGBTQ plus representation in children's literature. And in the presenter notes, it says, why LGBTQ plus issues are part of the Burlington School District's fabric, task force report and recommendation, share logistics about LGBTQ plus struggles in schools with mental health and hate speech, LGBTQ plus in schools, the why, the who, the when, and the how LGBTQ plus themes are integrated into the curriculum. Again, they're telling us explicitly they're integrating it into the curriculum. Cultural sensitivity, etc., etc. And again, they are not allowing photography or videos because they don't want the world to see what they are doing in the school district. All right. We read this one before. This is the same task force statement from the last presentation, so I won't read it again. The Burlington School District is committed to fully understanding and respecting cultural differences. Our goals are inclusivity, safety, and respect. Schools are nonpartisan and not pushing any political agenda. Well, I don't agree with that, Burlington. You're explicitly pushing a Marxist agenda. It's not that hard to see once you understand what you're looking at. So no, the Burlington, Vermont School District is lying there. I do just want to say a big thank you over to Maria on Rockfin. Maria just gave me a $5 tip on Rockfin. Thank you, Maria, and I appreciate you watching on Rockfin. I also appreciate everyone who is watching on Odyssey right now. Thank you guys for subscribing on Odyssey and on Rumble as well, and wherever else you might be watching. I appreciate all of you guys, and I want to encourage everyone on YouTube. Please make sure you subscribe to me on Odyssey, Rockfin, Rumble, whatever platform suits you the best. But please make sure you're subscribed to me on an alternative platform, just in case something happens, just in case. We always want to have backups. So I am streaming on all of those platforms as well, and I hope you will join me there. All right, so we've got here the commitment to diversity and equity in the Burlington School District. I'm not going to read all of these things, but this is something that I would read if I hadn't already read all this stuff before, and something that we will probably go back to at some point. So this is crazy, and I actually reported on this. I reported on this in this article. Check this out. Burlington School District has a large LGBTQ plus population. Out of 425 high schoolers surveyed, 35.3% self-identified as LGBTQ plus. And it's not even that, because 35.3% identified explicitly as LGBTQ plus, but another 9.2% said they're not sure. So you have 49% saying no, they're just straight, cisgender, all that stuff, and everyone else is in the not sure category. What that means is that you have 44% of students in the Burlington High School identifying as either explicitly LGBTQ plus or some sort of possibly gender nonconforming. And I just want to say, again, anyone who thinks I hate trans people, we got Amazon Eve in the chat today. Welcome, Amazon Eve. We're glad you're here. And Amazon Eve says all the neo pronouns are about narcissistic projection. I agree. Trans person, Burlington, I don't want to hear any grief. All right. Now, I don't particularly care if people are LGBTQ plus. It makes no difference to me at all. I just find it a little high. I find 44% to be a little disproportional for what we would expect to happen naturally. I'm just saying. We got their task force members, and you're going to recognize some of these names. We've got Autumn. Autumn is in the task force. We have students. There is a student that is co-chairing this task force. Nikki Ellis. Nikki Ellis, we know because that's Nikki Ellis right there. We also have Billy Ray Polai, who was also featured heavily in this article. And then some other people as well. Scope of work: to transform the Burlington School District into a national model for holistic wellness for LGBTQ plus people, youth, and adults. Why would the Burlington School District need to be a national model for adults? And so the task force identified 4 areas of growth: curriculum and resources. They are explicitly telling you they're manipulating the curriculum. Examine how sexual orientation, gender identity, and gender expression are currently addressed and discussed in our schools. Oh, non-discrimination policies. Collect information on current policies that protect LGBTQ plus youth and staff in the Burlington School District and make recommendations for Burlington School District to adopt specific non-discrimination policies that support and affirm LGBTQ plus youth and staff. Environment: assess successes and challenges in creating a sexuality and gender affirming, gender liberated environment. What does gender liberated mean? Pop quiz while I get some more water. What does gender liberated mean in the chat? Let me know your answers. Hint, hint, it relates back to a world full of theys. The Burlington School District is explicitly saying that it is their goal to create a gender liberated environment. What does that mean? The destruction of gender? Entirely free of the gender binary. Exactly. They want to abolish gender. Why are we taught to liberate yourself? To free yourself from. Liberate and abolish in Marxist ideology and queer Marxism are used pretty interchangeably. Abolish means to get rid of. Liberate, to free yourself from. To get rid of the gender binary. They want to liberate the school district from the gender binary. This is queer Marxism. Don't let them tell you they don't have political motivations. Liberating a school district from the gender binary is queer Marxism. Yep, Benjamin says students will be pressured to say they are gender liberated. Exactly. And of course, Sin is correct too. This all leads up to what was stated in the Communist Manifesto, their goal of abolishing the biological family. Well done, guys. Check this out. How are LGBTQ plus issues discussed in the Burlington, Vermont school district at the elementary school level? It's in bright blue there. Family diversity. Students will be exposed to a variety of family structures through books, including mother-father, single parents, step-parents, multiracial, adoptive, same-sex parents, grandparents or other family members raising children, foster parents, incarcerated parents, and parents with disabilities. I'm going to be honest, I don't see anything wrong with that. So I'm going to throw you a bone, Burlington. I don't see anything wrong with that one. I don't really care if you do that. Bullying and harassment. School counselors review the definitions of bullying and harassment and teach students about protected categories. What is the difference between bullying and harassment, and what are protected categories? The protected categories are race, creed, gender identity, national origin, gender expression, color, sex, sexual orientation, disability, and marital status. And then we have the gender unicorn again. Other common practices regarding LGBTQ plus topics in schools: signaling allyship. The Burlington, Vermont School District staff are encouraged to promote safe spaces through the display of signs, pride flags, and buttons. That's what we found here when they are literally using a checklist to encourage teachers to place as much LGBTQ plus flair in their classroom as possible. Pronouns. To prevent misgendering students, students are routinely asked to share their pronouns as part of the norms of building new class communities. And GSAs and rainbow clubs. And by the way, guys, looking into GSAs and rainbow clubs, if you're investigating the schools, GSAs and rainbow clubs are something you need to spend time on, because it's the fucking GSAs that lead to the social transitioning of the students. The students that are socially transitioning are almost always involved in the GSAs and the rainbow clubs. So make sure you're keeping an eye out for that. Other common practices regarding LGBTQ plus topics in schools: pronouns and name changes. Burlington School District students who use a name that is not their legal name and or gender may give the school district their current information, which will be used on class rosters and other documents. All Vermont school districts collect and maintain legal name and legal gender data that matches the student's birth certificate for mandatory state reporting, state assessments, etc. Representation in literature. The Office of Equity recently received a grant from the Vermont Principals Association to purchase LGBTQ plus themed books, and gifted each library $500 to expand representation of LGBTQ plus characters and nonfiction materials. Isn't that nice of the Vermont Principals Association to specifically give them money to bring books into schools? How gracious. Now we get into the questions that they ask the students. And of course, sadly, because the Burlington School District doesn't want us to record these things, we don't know what the students said. But I actually think that the questions they're asking students are much more interesting than the student responses. So let's see what the Burlington, Vermont School District asked students in public. At what age or grade level did you first learn about anything having to do with LGBTQ plus identities in schools? And what was the content? What is the difference between how LGBTQ plus topics are addressed in elementary school versus middle school and high school? So basically, they're asking a panel of kids how they learned about LGBTQ plus topics in elementary school and how that differed from how they were learning about them in middle and high school. Isn't that nice? Number 3, What more needs to be done at Burlington School District to ensure respect and integrity for LGBTQ plus students, staff, and family members? And then we have Miro's Windows and Doors in Literature. Take a moment to browse through the books provided, and of course, we don't know what books they provided because Autumn didn't put it in the notes. Discuss. What is standing out to you about browsing the books? How were LGBTQ plus issues approached in your schooling, and how is it different today? What questions do you have? That must be for parents. And then we have our other resources. Outright Vermont. Holy shit. If you guys remember, if you were around back when we did the initial Burlington investigation, Outright Vermont banned me from a webinar that they were doing with the state agency, the Vermont Human Rights Commission. And then they said in their webinar that I was a hate channel, and they violated Vermont state open meeting policy to ban me from their webinar. That's a TED Talk. That's their task force report. What is this Outright thing? Oh gosh. Why am I paying money for this? Gender and Sexuality Alliances, $10. Why am I paying $10 for this? Key concepts for LGBTQ plus youth solidarity. Okay, well, we'll look at that later. And that seems to be the end of the presentation there. So those are the slides that we have for Burlington, Vermont's latest grooming webinars. They have a third one coming up on March 8th. We aren't done with this yet, though. There's something else I want to look at. Now, I just want to do another call real quickly. If you are in the greater Burlington, Vermont area, and you would like to help us by going to this live presentation on March 8th, I have people that can give you hidden cameras. Or if you don't feel comfortable wearing a hidden camera, that's fine. You don't have to. No one's pressuring anyone to do anything. However, if you would just like to go and report back and tell us what happened, I would love to hear from you. You can email me at activilyunwoke@gmail.com. You can also slide into my DMs on Twitter. I'm Dr. Carlin B on Twitter. If for some reason that doesn't work, maybe because I blocked you over something, you can DM me on activilyunwoke @activilyunwoke on Twitter. My DMs are open on both. And let me know that you're willing to go, and we can hook you up with secret cameras. We can hook you up with microphones. We can help you out. If you don't want to do any of that and you just want to go and listen and tell us what happened, that's cool too. But yeah, I mean, maybe I need to reach out to James O'Keefe is what needs to happen. Like, James, I need all your resources. Radical Moderate says Vermont law does not contain any provisions regarding the legality of recording or sharing any kind of audio-based conversations. That means that Vermont is considered a one-party consent state. So if you go and secretly record this, you can't get in trouble. It's totally legal. We promise. And actually, I do know that. We actually did talk to a lawyer about that last time. So let me know. I would love to hear from you. But the other thing I want to look at before we wrap up for today, and guys, just so you know, I will be doing a private call with my community of supporters starting at 7 p.m. tonight. If you want to get in on that call, one of the best ways you can do it is by heading over to, not there. I guess we'll go back here. Heading over to my Substack, carlin.substack.com. And what you need to do is become a paid supporter on my Substack. Now you can do that and then go to this article right here, the Unwoke Roundup week 8. And if you scroll down to the very bottom of this article, you're going to hit the supporter perks section. Now, right now, this has a red box over it because I am not logged in as a paid supporter. But if you are a paid supporter, what you're going to see there is a list of Zoom links that you can use to join our private community Zoom calls. We do them on Mondays at 7 p.m. We do them on Wednesdays at noon. You are welcome to come and join us if you're a supporter. If you are a supporter on Locals or on Patreon, I will be emailing you the links when we're about to get started. So come and join us for a chat. Everyone is welcome. the more the merrier. Monday calls go on for a while, so if you want to go grab some dinner or something, you're welcome to do that. And then come join us for a chat after that, and we'll be thrilled to hear from you guys. But the last thing I want to look at is, so I told you, and again, this is on the main equity website for the Burlington, Vermont School District. They do a summer racial justice academy. Summer Racial Justice Academy 2. And oh God, there's like videos and stuff. Oh gosh. So I want to just see. So we looked into their Racial Justice Academy last year, and it's crazy. This is like a whole summer program where they are training students in their schools to be activists. And I want to see what they're doing. Let me just get this up. So let's see the results of the Racial Justice Summer Academy Part 2.
At the Burlington School District Racial Justice Academy, we represent student leadership.
We speak out for the needs of ourselves, our peers, and our community.
Every student, every teacher, and staff brings a unique gift to this space.
We bring authentic experience,
brilliance, diversity,
and meaningful engagement.
We value racial justice,
honesty,
change, and healing.
We work to build connections, organize for action, and share in collective power.
We will share power with adults in authentic ways.
We will create transformative change and work towards a more just future.
We will insist that school leaders listen to us and value the work of the youth.
We will work to
I don't know if you heard that last one, but it was because it was really soft. They need to work on the balance of music to like voice in these things. But that student just said, we will basically force the school district to listen to us, the students. The students are announcing they're going to be promoting struggle sessions within the school district.
Dismantle oppressive systems, policies, and practices.
We will disrupt white supremacy power structures in our schools.
We will disrupt white supremacy power structures in our schools.
power to create culture shifts to bring about positive changes in the Burlington School District.
We will be seen and we will be heard.
Now, do you know what else I've noticed on this page? Guess what else I've noticed? March 29th, the Burlington School District Equity Workshop Series, Social Justice Education at 6 p.m. and it's virtual. So I'm going to need some people. I'm telling you right now, we're spy streaming the fuck out of this. I'm going to need volunteers because the Burlington School District is going to recognize me. I cannot be on this Google meeting. Right? But we can finagle other ways. I need volunteers to infiltrate this equity workshop series at 6 p.m. Eastern Time on March 29th. There is a Google meeting. And we're going to spy stream it. That's going to be fun. All right. At the Burlington School District Racial Justice Academy, we represent student leadership. We speak about the needs of ourselves, our peers, and our community. Every student, teacher, and staff brings a unique gift to the space. We bring authentic experience, brilliance, diversity, and meaningful engagement, and we value racial justice, honesty, deep learning, and change and healing. We work to build connections, organize for action, and share in, wait for it, collective power. Oh, no. You guys aren't political at all when you're talking about running a summer camp about collective power. Trendolin, volunteering. And I'm going to need at least 4 people in that Google Meetup. We're going to get a whole variety because what they're going to try to do is they're either going to move it or they're going to try to hide it or they're going to kick people out. And so I need to have some backups. We share power with adults in authentic ways. We will share hard truths to uncover and expose racial bias in school systems. We will create transformative change and work towards a more just future. We will insist that student leaders listen to us and value the work of the youth. We will disrupt white supremacy power structures in our schools. We will work to dismantle oppressive systems, policies, and practices. We will use our power to create cultural shifts to bring about positive change in the Burlington School District. We will be seen and we will be heard. And there's their picture of it. This is going to be one of their restorative justice circles. Restorative justice is basically like a struggle session. And what I want to look at are their recommendations for change, because one of the things that comes out of these Racial Justice Academy summer camps is they make recommendations to the school district on what the school district needs to do better. So let's see. This was presented on July 19th, 2022. The real support students need. Help students feel supported and heard through the creation of equity advisors. 2 or more equity advisors will be identified in every school in Burlington School District. Students will have someone to go to report harm. Check this out. They're creating a system to snitch. What is this called? They're creating their own little fucking red guard. Students will have someone to go to report harm caused by adults and peers. The equity advisors will advocate for them by reporting the problem to the larger authority in the school district for problem solving. The students' needs will be valued, and the district will be committed to a response. Make sure students have enough time to socialize and interact with peers and take care of their well-being by implementing daily breaks. We recommend having a 10 to 15-minute break every day to have time to connect with each other and take a break from schoolwork. This will be a relaxing time where students could go to the bathroom or see counselors and not be required to participate in structured activities. The students are demanding a new insight into anti-racist teaching practices. Implement an anti-racist professional learning program for teachers. We need teachers to learn in order to create and maintain a safe environment for students, eliminating the blatantly harmful behavior that takes place in our learning environments will create the building blocks for developing anti-racist classrooms, schools, and districts. Work to eliminate racial microaggressions in the classroom. Introduce required quarterly professional development meetings that teach administrators and teachers and teaching staff about common racist jokes, comments, patterns, or mistakes made in the classroom. Amazon Eve, thank you for the super chat. Liberation means communism, Marcus. Yes, it does. I agree with that. The people means only the Marxists, Lindsay. I agree with that. There's a tone of doublespeak in the woke game. I agree with everything you said, Amazon Eve. I think anytime we hear the words liberation or abolition, we need to think Marxism. We need to think communism. Because, of course, Marxism is just the transitionary period to communism. And I absolutely agree that the people does only mean people of their political ideology. So we're absolutely on the same page there. Thank you for the super chat. Our lesson plan, what is this? Oh, well, maybe someday. Deborah Lee's racist attitudes and behaviors. I don't have access to that file. Edmonds, oh, wait. Oh, look at this. This is why we click on all the links, people. Every time you skip, you have to click on all the links. These are 3 different links that look like one, okay? So the first 2 we don't have access to, but we can FOIA. Edmonds Y Park Culturally Responsible Teaching rubric, however, is publicly available. And so now we have a whole teaching rubric. Look at that. We're going to need to read through that at some point. Not today. But that's pretty great. Are examples of this. Training should also be done in affinity spaces. Affinity means segregation, in order to prevent harm towards BIPOC employees. So the students are saying that the work to eliminate racial microaggressions, that needs to be segregated training, because if BIPOC employees have to hear about these racial microaggressions, then they're going to be emotionally harmed by them. Training like this is the first step towards eradicating racism in classrooms. Redefining staff accountability at Burlington School District. What do we think they mean when they say staff accountability? Rather, let me ask this a different way. Pop quiz for the chat. What do we think they're doing when they say staff accountability? Any ideas? I mean, Sin, this isn't far off. I keep thinking of the Ginger Prince and the Duchess of Beige in his book, Wah. Yup, bot, this is close. Punishing staff who don't do what they want, that's close. What does accountability usually mean in woke speak? It is about punishing them. What I'm getting at is struggle session. Anytime you see the word accountability, I want you to think struggle session. I want you to think evergreen. I want you to think back to Benjamin Boyce's wonderful series. Exactly. Struggle session, struggle session, struggle session, struggle session. Exactly. Struggle sessions for everyone. Implement a restorative process for teacher accountability. When staff do or say racist things, they are not held accountable to the same degree that students are for the same behavior. The district needs a clear and consistent way to hold people truly accountable to create change. Now, the question I have, what do they mean when they say racist things? How would they define racist things? Can I have some examples of racist things that the staff has said? Improve documentation and investigation tools, tool protocols, Improve documentation, and you can tell I've been talking a lot lately because my voice is just not lasting anymore. Improve documentation and investigation protocols when staff cause harm to students. An investigation should take place where all parties get interviewed and everyone's voice is heard. Incidents should be documented and put in the staff's HR records. The staff member should have an opportunity to repair the harm and go through a learning path to get educated on the subject. Now, one of the things I'm thinking about as I'm reading this document was written by the students. I want you to really understand that. The students in this Racial Justice Academy, the second one they've done, the students created this. Students do not learn to talk like social justice activists unless adults teach them how to talk like social justice activists. The language in this report is not something that students would learn unless far leftist social justice activist adults taught them this. Exactly, Steve. This is evergreen all over again. Burlington, Vermont is Evergreen State College at a K through 12 level. Mark my words, they're going to have some sort of meltdown someday. An adult coach them. Or they've just been introduced to this language over and over again. There's a video in this. And it was one of the most overlooked things of this entire article. I want to listen to this real quick. Hang on. This is a student from the initial, well, you guys can't see this. Hang on. This is a student from the initial investigation we did from the Burlington School District, and this was one of the most overlooked things in this entire article. This student, who's probably 12, 13, 14 years old, this student is talking like a social justice warrior. I'm going to play this, and I want you to listen to this. This is disturbing. This student is talking this way because adults taught them to talk this way.
But if you don't mind unmuting
Autumn.
yourself and
That's Autumn
introducing yourself,
Bangora.
your pronouns if you would like, and where you go to school and what brings you here tonight. Maybe can we start with Brett? Are you there, Brett?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I'm Brett. My pronouns are they, them, and I go to Hunt Middle School. The ramifications of harassment and bullying that I think the ramifications that harassment and bullying have on students is
thank you, Nick. No making fun of kids.
Like undeniable at this point, and really nothing seems to ever be done about it. And even if like the perpetrators get suspended, which like I saw that happen at my elementary school where people who would bully other students got suspended. When they came back, they would just go straight back to bullying them. And it's just nothing seems to ever work when discipline does happen, which doesn't seem that often.
What kind of consequences do you think are appropriate? You know, if let's just say we had a report that came in and there was substantiated that behavior occurred, what do you think should be happening to your fellow students?
I don't think I could confidently say what should be happening without taking a look at what is currently happening, which I honestly don't really know much about. The different levels of discipline for different like rule breaking. What would you call that? I don't know. But without taking a look at how it is currently being handled, which is not very well, at least in the eyes of students, I don't think I could confidently say what should be happening. But I will say that I think if you go up to any student, at least in my school, and you ask them, do you think that students, like at least the majority of the time, receive fair punishment for what they have done? I guarantee you that the majority of students will say no, that many students are punished too severely and others are seemingly not punished at all.
Hang on. We got about 3 more minutes left in this. I just want to make a note. I have a policy on this channel that we do not criticize children, because the children that we see in these videos are victims of this ideology. Criticize the adults that taught them this. Do not go after the kids, because and the other reason too is that everything that you guys are saying in the chat right now is publicly available, okay? Because like people in the Burlington, Vermont school district can come into the chat and they can say, look at those evil people criticizing those kids. I don't want to give them that opportunity. The children do not understand this. You guys are saying this person is obviously trained. Yeah, this is so sad that kids don't talk like this. They don't talk like this. This kid does not know that they've been, because I actually do try to respect pronouns. They've been indoctrinated by an ideology. They don't know. So I'm asking everyone, I will delete any comments that are critical of the kids because it is not the kids' fault. But we got about 3 more minutes of this.
Brett, can I ask another question to you?
That's the equity director. That's Sparks.
Yes.
Who are the students that you have witnessed being punished differently and more harshly?
Definitely students of the global majority.
The global majority, anytime they say students of the global majority, that means non-white. That is the language they use in Burlington, Vermont. Students of the global majority equals non-white.
Thank you.
He was coached to say that. The student was coached to say that.
Can I get clarification of that?
Yes.
Are you saying that? Can you just restate that? Are you saying
the students that the students that I've witnessed that are being punished seemingly too harshly have primarily been Black students and other students of color, but also students that stand up, that I've seen people who stand up against like hate speech get punished more severely than the people who actually said the hate speech and stuff. So that's a whole nother side.
Yeah, that's interesting because as a parent, I don't find that to be the case, but it could be just that it's my child who's involved in that. So thank you for clarifying, Brett.
And the question to our panelists, do you have one person in the school that you just trust? This is your go-to person, somebody in the building that you have a relationship with, that you can go tell them what's going on and feel safe in doing that?
Does it have to be a teacher?
Nope.
I'd say most of my friend group, since a lot of us are in social justice club together.
Social
we tend to
Justice
talk
Club.
about that stuff.
They have a club.
On Thursdays when we meet, sometimes on Tuesdays. I can't speak for students of the global majority, but I tend to trust my queer teachers more. So I think something that would help with being able to go to administration was just more acknowledgement of the fact that these inequities exist within our school, not just like the outside world, and that like that bigotry and that sort of thing it exists within our school as well. It's not exclusive to the outside world. And the only time I've seen my administration acknowledge that is like in the hate speech video we made in Social Justice Club. The faculty and staff did a piece, and I didn't even see like my principal. I'm pretty sure my principal was in that, but I don't remember seeing him. Wait, no, he wasn't in that. I don't know. I just haven't seen them. I haven't seen them acknowledge that very often.
So that is one of the students. That is a 12-year-old middle school student in the Burlington, Vermont school district, repeating the language that the adults have given that student to say. And that really was one of the most, I think, overlooked videos when we broke the news about the Burlington, Vermont school district, because everyone was focused on the assistant principal grooming the 12-year-old that came out and that had a sibling that came out in the 5th grade. And I understand why the focus was there. But for me, the video that we just watched was one of the most disturbing things that we actually found, because it was a 12-year-old talking like a hardened social justice activist. And kids don't talk that way unless adults teach them to. I'm sorry. And so when we're reading this document, I really want you guys to understand this is a document that was written by children. This was not written by the adults. Let's continue. The last thing they want is peer mediators at Burlington High School. Introduce a peer mediator system with Burlington High School training. Peer mediators would be recommended by peers and staff. They would attend training and be a diverse representation of the student body. After peer mediators are trained in phase 1, they would begin to meet and practice and then begin to take on small classes. Burlington High School would provide community service hours for time completed as a peer mediator. I actually really wouldn't be that opposed to that if I didn't think they were being uber woke in the implementation of it. And then host training peer mediators, I don't know why I can't say this word today, would help to provide student perspectives for school discipline. Have students involved in the process that impacts students the most. Currently, there is much power in the hands of adults, and we want to make discipline feel more fair for all students. The results of peer mediators at the high school would be to have mediators incorporated into some or all disciplinary outcomes, processes, and decisions about the and have the amount of suspensions reduced. Okay, fine. I actually don't really have a problem with this last one at all. But this is pure woke leftist. That's Marxism. This is blatant Marxism. And this is like a struggle session in action waiting to happen right there. And that was all the result of the Racial Justice Academy Part 2. And it looks like there is some other stuff we do need to review as well on the Burlington School District website. And guys, we will be continuing our work investigating this as a part of the Schools Exposed program, and I will be tracking all additional things that we find at the Burlington Project. That is burlingtonproject.substack.com. This is like a little subset of my actively unwoke work that is focused specifically on the Burlington, Vermont School District, and we will be doing a lot more research into that as part of the Schools Exposed project, which is launching on Wednesday. On Wednesday, you can get into Schools Exposed, and you can get into Schools Exposed, and it's going to be awesome. I am creating a community that is dedicated to doing exactly what I showed you on this stream, going onto school websites, looking into publicly available information. If you want to join the program, you have 2 days left. 2 days to go over to Join Schools Exposed, which is going to bring you directly to my Indiegogo campaign. And I am shutting down the Indiegogo after I launch the classroom on Wednesday. So you have 2 more days to get involved, get some special deals, get some cool swag if you want to. This is going to be great, guys. I'm really happy. We're getting a course room it's like a Discord-like environment, but it's not on Discord. But it kind of functions like that. So we have places we can put documents. We actually have a whole online course that we're going to be working through. It's like a Discord-like environment, except it's for online learning. So you've got your online courses, you've got your videos, you got your on-demand videos that are going to be there. We also have places we can do voice chats. We're going to have monthly live calls to talk about these things. We can store documents there. We can share resources. We can share information. This is going to be a closed community of people that are interested in investigating the schools, and it is my firm commitment to put 10,000 parents through this program. I don't know how long that's going to take, but that is the mission, and I think the more we do, the more stuff we expose, the more people we're going to be able to get involved. So please, if you want to be on the team that's investigating this type of stuff in school, everyone is welcome. You can join the Schools Exposed program and help us out. Even if you're just a parent and you're just like, I just want to keep an eye on my school district, that's totally fine. You can do that. But the stuff that we're going to expose in Schools Exposed is quite literally going to end up on the news. I guarantee it. We are going to show people what's going on based on publicly available information and public documents. So we got a lot of work to do there. I'm super, super pumped. But for right now, I got to go. Because I got to go make some dinner before we have our private Zoom call with my community of supporters. If you are a supporter on Substack, on Locals, or on Patreon, you are invited to join me for a private, unrecorded call starting at 7 p.m. Is the Unwoke Army going to look for Schools Exposed stuff? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. The Schools Exposed program, the origin idea for Schools Exposed was, I was like, I need to write a training program for the Unwoke Army to teach them how to investigate the schools. And so people in the Unwoke Army are welcome to become a part of Schools Exposed, and we can talk about that. We'll talk about that as we talk about it, Bot. You're going to be in on it. Don't worry, Bot. You got your access. You're going to be fine. All right. Okay, guys, I got to go make some dinner. I will see some of you in about 20 minutes for our private Zoom call. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you guys soon. Bye.